Hello, welcome to episode 97 of Daryl Show Your Work. All right, so this is going to be a kind of a complex one. Hence, why you see some diagrams and multiple machines listed here on my screen. But please bear with me, and I'm going to walk us through this attack. So, what I'm going to be conducting in this video is something called an SMB relay attack. And essentially, what it is I'm going to be hijacking a SMB a connection attempt to a website known as sportsfood.com and redirect that traffic to where I want it to go, which is back here to my Kali machine to then establish a interpreter connection to the target machine. But before I jump even further into this, I want to preface the video with my usual disclaimer. This is for ethical research and educational purposes only. Any sort of malicious actions that may directly or indirectly come from someone watching my videos, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. Okay, so to explain what's going on here in this video. All right, so we're going to have four different machines that we're going to be working with. All right, so all right, we're going to have my IP, which that's the first step that I'm going to do in this is gaining my IP address so we know where I'm located. All right, and then we have our target host, ultimately the machine that we want to gain access to, and then we have the default gateway, which is our router. Okay, what connects us from the inside of our network to the outside. All right, and then we have the client machine, and this is like think of if this is an e-commerce site, the customer. All right, and so we want to take advantage of the customer's attempt to connect with the target host, and we want to be able to reroute that traffic in a way to then when we get access to the target host instead of the client machine. And so that's essentially what's going on here, where we see with a client machine, ultimately they're trying to get from here to here. All right, they want to get from from where they are to this one. This is a web server, so they want to be able to connect to this web server to do some sort of e-commerce purchasing on this website. All right, but we're going to do is, instead of them connecting to the target host, they're going to connect to us, and then we're going to connect back to them, and they're going to connect back to us. And by them connecting back to us, then we're going to then be able to then connect we'll be able to connect to the target host, and then they're going to be able to connect back to us. And where the client here, they never even made a connection here to the web server, and they've essentially helped us gain access to the web server here. So the client is not the target, but the web server is the actual target. All right, so hopefully that made sense in my explanation here, but I'm going to walk us through here and further show exactly how we go about doing this SMB relay attack. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to start off doing is finding out what my IP address here, and I'm going to copy it here to mouse pad. All right, so I'm gonna just do a simple, and hold on, there we go. Okay, simple ifconfig. As soon as, there we go, my machine catches up with me. Okay, so I'm on the Ethernet 1 interface. So this is my IP address. I'm 172.16.5.101. Okay, so let's copy that, and see my menu is down here today. All right. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna actually do any nmap recon, and I'm gonna jump straight into the Metasploit framework here. So I'm gonna say service, PostgresQL, start, and then we're gonna also start the msfconsole. Okay. So I have to be a little patient. For some reason, the Metasploit framework, it's still going to take a little longer to boot up on this machine. I'm not necessarily sure why, but just give it some patience. It's just a little longer than usual, but not too long. All right, there it is. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna skip all the workspace stuff for this video, and I'm gonna just jump right into my search. So I'm gonna search for a SMB relay attack module. So I'm gonna say SMB relay. All right, so the one that I want to use from this list is actually this first one here, this MS 08068 Microsoft Windows SMB relay code execution. That's what I want to use. All right, so I'm going to say use zeros since that's its module ID. Okay, so on here, let's show the options. All right, so from here, there's a couple of things that I want to set. So we're all good here with the port that is aiming at the 445. So I want to actually set my IP address in two different places here. So I want to set it here as far as server host, and also here as an L host. I want to set it twice, and then I also want to set our target with the SMB host. All right, so that's who we're targeting. So I'm gonna start off setting the L host, which is myself. So I'm 172 dot 16 dot 5 dot 101. All right, and then I want to set myself also as the server host. 101. Okay. Okay, and then I also want to set our target. Remember, it's the .10 address, so not the client, but the .10 address, which is the web server. 'Cause ultimately, we want to access that web server, and we're hijacking the traffic between the host and the web server to gain access to the web server, and not necessarily the host. All right, so excuse me, not necessarily the client. Sorry about that. All right, so that is the web server's address. All right, so I'm going to leave that right there for right now, and I'm going to open up a second terminal. All right, so what I'm going to do here in this terminal, I'm going to configure the DNS spoofing using a tool known as DNS spoof. Simple enough. All right, so to do that, I'm going to say echo, and I'm going to give it my IP address here. 101. All right. And then basically I want to say anywhere wildcard where any sort of domain that includes sports foo. All right, that's the host, the host name of the web server. All right, so that is the I'm trying to think of the term when DNS translates the a website for you. Um, but this is ultimately the name of the website that's being hosted by the web server. All right, so that I'm telling you, any place that has anything .sportsfood.com that we're gonna create a DNS record that has this in it. All right, so I'm gonna say, and we're gonna output that to something called DNS. And again, what this is doing, it's going to create a file that's going to emulate a DNS records file. All right, so ultimately we're saying send this is we're associating our my IP address with any place that has sportsfood.com in it, and we're setting that as a DNS record. Okay, and should it be doing that? Let me see. I left out. I did screw it up here. All right, hold on. Okay, let's try that again. I did leave out. Let's see. That double quote should actually go. You see, let's put that in the, yeah, right here. Okay, I'll get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so once I hit enter, all right, that should be good. So that DNS file should be created. Let's do a list of our local directory, and we can see that the DNS file is there. Now I'm going to actually use DNS spoof. And what this is going to do is going to redirect all requests to again any place, anything that's .sportsfood.com. It's going to redirect all those requests to my Kali system. All right. So in order to do that, I'm gonna say DNS spoof. All right. -I to specify my my interface, which is Ethernet 1. All right, and then we want to use the file DNS record DNS. All right, and again, when I do this, again, it's going to start redirecting all those requests to .sportsfood.com to my system here. All right, and we're going to start to see something. Yeah, we can start. You see that now it's in listening mode, so it's not generating any records now, but in a few, it is. So now I'm going to begin doing some ARP spoofing. All right, so all right, I opened up the third terminal. All right, so I'm going to enable IP forwarding. So in order to do that, I'm going to say echo 1, and then we want to output this to the following directory. Okay, so that echo 1 is going to output to a file known as IP underscore forward in this specific directory. And again, this is going to enable IP forwarding. And it didn't like that. Okay, what did I say here that it did not like? Let's see, proc sysnet. Well, it helps to have a V when talking about IPv version 4. Okay, now it should work. Okay, all right. Now we got that done. So next, I'm going to be using the ARP spoof. And again, what this is going to do is going to start the ARP spoofing attack against the client machine. All right, that's the machine that's at. And I can bring back up our chart here. So it's going to actually start the attack on this machine. All right, and against this machine, and it's not on. And actually, I don't have the full gateway here. But it's going to start the ARP spoof attack against the local gateway, and then against the client machine here. And ultimately, we're trying to hijack the traffic between the client and to the machine. All right. So anytime the client, anytime the client tries to make a request going here, they're going to come into our system, and then ultimately we're going to go to where they were trying to go. All right. Okay, so and let me put that over here. My camera wanted to make a special guest appearance again, which is not a problem. Just needs to get out of the way. There we go. All right, slide you on over so you're not in the way. There we go. All right. All right, so back over here. So let's start that ARP spoof. All right, we're going to say ARP spoof. And then again, just like with the DNS spoof, I'm going to specify um, my interface, which is Ethernet 1. And then I'm going to give it the dash lowercase t, and this is where I specify both of our targets. So first I'm going to specify the client's IP address, and then I'm going to specify the local gateway .1. All right, so making sure, checking my syntax here, I don't need any quotes or anything here, so I should be good to go. And that's going to start um, and we should start seeing some replies there. Okay. All right. And then, all right, now I would now want to go to open up a fourth terminal, and I'm going to do the exact opposite. So so basically I did an art spoof with the traffic going from the from our client to the local gateway, and then now I want to spoof the traffic basically with the reply back from the local gateway going back to the client, so they believe that they've successfully communicated with the gateway, but they haven't. Instead, they've been talking to us. But I want to spoof this traffic. All right, so I'm just basically going to do the exact opposite. So I'm gonna say ARP spoof. So the both machines believe that they're actually talking to each other when they're not. Okay, I'm the only one that's being spoken to. All right, so and then I'm going to then do targets again, and then this time I'm going to start with um, the gateway. All right, because this is the gateway talking back. We're spoofing the gateway talking back to the client. All right. All right, so we're seeing that that we're getting replies back. So just showing this, if I jump back to the third terminal, all right, so we can see just this spoof communication going on between both addresses. But again, it's not. This is a conversation that I'm generating, that I'm spoofing and generating between both parties, where it's not really happening, and the only person that's being spoken to is me. So I'm gonna jump back here to the first terminal here. Now I'm going to execute our relay attack. All right, and we're not going to really see nothing at first. All right, so it says server started. So if I type jobs, this is going to show me. Okay, so this is showing me the service listener that's running. All right, so now we can see SMB alt relay against um, 172.16.5.10, which is the web server. It's telling me it's succeeded. All right, and I'm looking for it's a interpreter session 1 open. All right, so we can see that we successfully got a interpreter session going on. All right, so if I hop back to the second terminal and let's see what's going on there, because remember that was in listener mode as well. And now we can see those connections. All right, within the DNS spoof, we can see the connection. All right, going on. What a spoofed connection going on? Okay, because we see um, um, .5.5. They're supposed to be connecting to sportsfood.com, but it says file server.sportsfood.com. this is not sportsfoods.com's. This is not their IP address. All right. So showing you how this is redirecting them somewhere completely different and not to where they're trying to go, but it's directed me to where I'm trying to go. And I'm gonna show you how I have a interpreter session now. So I'm going to just jump into that interpreter session and show you that I indeed have that now. So all right. So basically we can see each time where they try to make a connection instead is being redirected here to me, which I'm 101. All right, so I'm going to do a control C to stop this. Okay, all right, and then from here, I'm going to say sessions. All right, so we can see our interpreter session there. We have a 32-bit interpreter session going on. Looks like we have full system authority um, with the web server. So I'm just going to say sessions 1, which we can see the reason I'm saying sessions 1 because that's the session ID. So we're going to jump into that interpreter session. And that's the only thing with this. It just continues to run. So I got to be kind of fast here. Okay, let me try that again. There we go. All right, so I have my interpreter session here. All right, so let's say get. All right, let me try that again. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just going to keep moving. That's the only thing about when conducting this type of attack. And then apparently it's slowing down my system. All right, get UID. All right, so we see we have full system authority. All right, and I'm gonna say get privs. All right, so you can see a full list of privileges. Let's say sysinfo. All right, so we can see we have that 32-bit interpreter. It's this was actually it's a file server, um, but it looks like it's running Windows 7 Service Pack 1. So I'm going to try to try to migrate this to a 64-bit session. So let's find a 62-bit process. All right, and I'm gonna go for the LSAS process, and let's see if that's running. pgrep LSAS. All right, let's try that again. All right, so that's process ID 520. So let's migrate to that process ID. All right, right to 520. There we go. All right. So if I do a sysinfo again, all right, now we got, oh, it looks like I'm still running 32-bit. That is interesting. All right, let me see. Wait, 520. Yeah, no, that is so weird. Okay, well, let's just do a shell and show that I can get inside the system here. All right, so I'm all the way inside of the file server. I thought this would have been a web server, but to be fair, I didn't do any enumeration on this and to see exactly what type of server this was, but I assumed that because it was running a website from it, that it was a web server. But anywho, this was just to show how a SMB relay attack works. So let me just bring our diagram back up here again. So essentially, what I did, so as an attacker machine, I hijacked traffic going from our client our client from the outside, the customer, all right, and also with our gateway, they're trying to make their way over here to the target machine. I hijack that traffic and spoof that traffic, so the client never really suspected what was going on. So I hijacked the traffic in a way in which I spoofed the DNS records and the ARP traffic to where the client, both the client and the internal gateway believed that they were talking to each other. Well, all along, I redirected the traffic to speak to me, and so once I could see where they're trying to go here to the target machine, I hijacked their traffic and basically created an interpreter session to the target machine here, where the client went somewhere. I redirected them to go somewhere completely different, other than where they were trying to go, and essentially that gained me access to the target machine through the SMB protocol. All right, so essentially this is how a SMB relay works. So please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. And until next time,